But anyway, yeah. So this guy was talking about the assassin,
Yeah.
and the conditions that he is going through right now, with what he's dressed like, and the conditions in the room that he's in, and going over the noise that he hears, and how the corrections officers or the prison guards, whatever you want to call them, are treating him, his food.
Okay.
And
does he have direct knowledge or just experiential?
Experiential of some kind.
Okay.
Either he was a prisoner. I was zipping through it.
Okay.
He looked kind of prisoner. He looked a little rough around the edges.
Okay.
But he was very informative.
Yeah.
And it was a well done podcast type thing. And he was talking about that, and I'm listening, and he's not having a good time right now. This guy.
Good.
Okay, how everything from his toileting to his food and everything, what he's going to go through in the future, and everything else. And there's this temptation comes up to sort of languish in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It comes up, and then and then he goes into Utah has their death penalty. You know what their death penalty is? How they execute?
I know what's on the table.
What?
Firing squad.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that's not theirs is lethal injection.
Okay.
That's their primary means.
Okay, sure. That's why I said it's. Yeah. I don't think it's used, but it's not illegal.
It's tried to be. They try to use it.
Yeah.
There was this guy, I forget his name, but a few years ago, he committed a crime like in the mid '80s.
Okay.
And he was finally executed only a few years ago, like within the last 10 years. That's how long it takes.
They can't.
But he wanted firing squad, so the laws went back and forth. But the primary means.
I heard about that guy.
It takes.
It's like he requested it.
He requested it. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and he finally got it. But there's this whole series of appeals and everything. They go. This guy Robinson is going to be alive unless he unalives himself somehow, or somehow becomes unalivened by someone there.
Yeah.
But if he, aside from that, he's going to be around for the next 15, 20 years.
Which doesn't seem right.
That doesn't seem right. Well, that's the thing. People want, instant retribution. Put him before the firing squad and let's get him. Let's get him.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. It's not going to happen that way.
No, but it's so broken that we have people on death row for decades.
Decades, yeah.
Decades and decades.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the cause of that. I'm not sure what that is, but it's obviously it's broken though.
No, we have a whole system of appeals that are automatic, that go in, and the Supreme Courts of the states can get involved. I think they got involved in this last guy.
Yeah.
Then once it's approved, then they have to have a competency hearing, and that goes on. That can take years for that to happen.
It's crazy.
Because with him, he wanted the firing squad. So now they have to decide that he's of the right mind to make that decision.
This other guy.
Yeah. So this is going to go on for years and years and years. And so he started to talk about, first he was talking about all these prison conditions. And I'm like, the temptation to be happy that he's miserable just presents itself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
I mean, my first reaction was good when you said he's not enjoying himself.
Right. But, I had to step back from that and look. You can't take enjoyment in that. You have to step back and look. And I did, and it went away. And then he was going on and on and on. Then he started to talk about this firing squad stuff. Immediately, the image pops into my head of, the firing squad and him there and them, this little scenario, like a little movie.
Yeah.
Presents itself in my head. And it has a different script than what's supposed to happen. They all shoot him in the neck. And he dies a horrible death with, bleeding out of the neck. And then it's like, wait a minute, that is not real. That's fantasy.
Yeah.
That is something popping up, and I had to step back from it and watch it and step back. To take enjoyment in something like that is very sick.
Yeah. There's a difference between getting some sort of satisfaction out of it that's emotional, though,
right,
and being satisfied with justice being served.
Correct.
And I think that last part is important, right?
What, that justice be served?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But
I mean, and there should be some sort of satisfaction in that, no?
Well, it's not satisfaction. It shouldn't be personal satisfaction, but that's a temptation to be personally satisfied.
Yeah.
You can be satisfied that justice is served.
Right.
But when it starts off, it can be revenge, to get revenge.
Yeah.
And revenge is really just, it's resentment acting through you
Okay.
in a way that it's not supposed to. It isn't your will. It's something in your little voice pops up and says, you can get even. You can settle the score. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can, you can somehow, you've been hurt, you've been harmed, and now you can be made whole, and you'll feel better about it because there are people, we're bereaving right now. There are people who are grieving. I put a difference between bereaved and grieve. There's a bit of a difference.
Okay.
But there are people who want to feel better about this, and to excite themselves with retribution is not right. It gets emotional because you're not going to be made whole. You'll feel better temporarily, but then it comes back. You get caught up in the thinking, because when you get caught up in that thinking, you become, well, it's an evil thing that gives you those thoughts, and you become one with it again.
Well, there's
it's a poison, and the minute you carry out revenge, you become corrupted, and you always become what you hate. And that's how that happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you still have to seek justice. And there is a difference between, and this is what a lot of people can't seem to understand, because they can't separate, they can't first examine their inner deportment and learn how to forgive.
Right.
Which is an internal disposition.
Right.
Forgiveness is not your actions. Forgiveness happens inside, and then that dictates your actions.
Sure.
And people get that confused with empathy and sympathy and compassion, and they mistake forgiveness for that. So they think by extending some sort of empathy, you're forgiving. That's how they act. And
because forgiveness is not forgiveness is when you stop playing God, when you step back from that resentment. It's not something that you employ.
Right.
I forgive you.
So you forgive, and then you can make the right choice.
Yeah.
And I think that matters for this situation a lot. Right now,
yeah.
Because you need to forgive your enemy. You need to love your enemies. Right.
Right.
And if you love, because
love doesn't mean to,
right. Love is not your action.
It's not to hate them.
Yeah. Love means not to hate them. And when you don't hate them, you can take the just action, and I mean, we're talking about Charlie Kirk. I don't think we've said his name yet, which probably a mistake for the podcast, by the way. But Charlie Kirk, of course, was a big Christian guy.
Yeah.
And he quoted the Bible a lot. And I know there are times in the past where we've we talk about the problem with Bible thumping, and there are people who get a lot wrong who do that stuff. But the Bible itself is a testament to truth.
Right.
And people who follow what it says in the Bible are going to be closer to the truth and have more access to the truth than people that don't. That's just going to be true. Yeah. You still have to have that internal disposition of forgiveness and love. And there are people who quote the Bible all the time who obviously don't. And that's a big problem as well.
That's a majority of them.
That's a majority of them.
Yeah.
I watched Charlie a lot, and I will tell you the reason I was able to watch him a lot, the reason I didn't turn him off like I've done so many other political influencers and purveyors of news and information and opinions, is that I didn't sense the fear-mongering, the anger-mongering, the sort of riling up of emotions from him that I sense from a lot of other people.
He didn't seem like an angry guy.
He was not an angry man.
No, he wasn't.
And that's to his credit. And to me, that means that he was actually living by the words and the passages that he was quoting all the time, which I think is great. To love your enemy, to not hate your enemy, to forgive. And by the way, what I'm saying is, if you're forgiving, you have that internal disposition, then you can carry out justice. And a lot of people now are they're sort of going nuts over this. People that loved him and knew him even, and they're really upset. They're really angry, and they're saying, we gave you the guy who extended a hand, and now you have to deal with us. And that's kind of what they're saying now.
That's not right.
They're saying they're angry, and they're sort of a take no prisoners attitude. And I don't think that's what Charlie would have done under a similar circumstance. And the thing is, Charlie's a testament to living that way, to living without anger, because people are saying like, oh, it didn't work. It didn't work. Look, they took the one guy who tried it. He got more accomplished. If just from like the 30,000 foot view, if you're looking in without getting into the nitty gritty, who are the two most effective people trying to do the most for God and country right now? It's Donald Trump, basically, who people like to say he's angry. He doesn't strike me as angry. I don't think he knows that he's not as angry.
He said he was angry over Charlie.
He said he was. He said he was. And Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk accomplished the most out of all the political influencers, all the political movers over the past 10 years. Charlie Kirk was the most influential. The shift in Gen Z from liberal to conservative is basically credited to Turning Point, his organization, and it's probably correct.
Yeah. And
because he was the one, he had the wisdom to say, we're embracing TikTok. We're going to be all over social media. And they did. The message was, they flooded the zone with it. And that was the right thing to do when the temptation was to say, no, we're staying off all these platforms because they're, that kind of thing. And thank God they didn't do that. And he was the most influential one, and he was the one with the least amount of anger toward these people. And he got the most accomplished. So he's a testament to how powerful that is. So you have to forgive, and then you can choose the right action next.
Well, then you'll have justice, because justice doesn't, humans are not just. We're not just. Only God is just.
Right.
Okay. And when you seek God, then you can employ his justice. It comes through you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Because if you have, because I mentioned resentment, when justice is hijacked by resentment, it then becomes revenge. That's what happens.
Yeah.
The scripture, I'll quote scripture, if I may.
Yeah.
Vengeance is mine. That's what God says. But when you avenge something that's wrong, you're supposed to be, we have a system of justice in this country that is supposed to mirror the love and justice of our Creator, because we're a country established under God.
Right.
And when men try to employ justice, they screw it up. Now, we don't have a perfect system because it is written by men, but we try to mirror, to echo the love and the justice of our Creator through that. And when we do, we get true justice.
Well, you're quoting vengeance, it's mine.
Right.
Okay.
Meaning it's not ours.
Meaning it's God's. God says that, not us.
Correct.
That those are not human words. Right.
Correct. Well, it's in the Bible, written by humans.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
The word from God.
Yeah. And I'm seeing people online now. I saw one prominent individual in particular who is a pastor, I think, and he tweeted, "Make America hate again."
What was that? Why is it
Make America hate again? Why? This is in response to the assassination.
Great.
He is saying that the right needs to embrace hatred.
What an idiot.
Biblical hatred is what he says.
Oh, yeah.
As if he understands that.
Yeah, righteousness.
Righteous anger.
Yeah, righteous anger. Yeah.
And these people have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to that.
Right.
Okay. And here's the thing. If he did, here's how I know he doesn't. Because if he did, he wouldn't say that. Because he knows what people will take that to mean.
Right.
He would explain what he means.
Because people associate that with their own emotions.
Because in modern English, in America today, in the entire world, hatred means resentment. It means emotion. It means an emotional feeling.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And he quotes scripture. He quotes the Psalms about it and stuff, which says like a perfect hatred. Okay. The Greek word and the Hebrew word for hatred, both. We know they're basically anyway. The Greek word and the Hebrew word for hatred do not translate to emotional hatred. That's maybe on the table. It can mean that under some circumstances. It means to forego, to push away from, to reject.
Yeah.
So when it says to hate evil, it's not saying I should emotionally, I hate that evil.
Right.
It's saying I fully reject it. I reject evil completely, and I fully embrace good. That's what it's saying. So for him to quote that and leave that context out and say we must hate like the Bible tells us to, he's spreading an emotional hatred.
It's an emotional
Something
hatred.
very wrong there.
And that's what leads to violence, abuse. It leads to hostility, and it breaks people apart because they're even quiet discontentment or what's the word I'm looking for? Contempt
Yeah.
held within.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That gets spread. That gets spread throughout your life because it disconnects you from God.
Yeah.
And when you're
Yeah.
disconnected from God, you can't make right decisions. You can't do the right thing.
Right.
At all.
And the example is Charlie, the man who was the most forgiving out of everybody within right-wing politics right now,
Yeah.
seemingly, is the one who got the most done. He changed the most minds. He
Right.
had the biggest influence on American politics.
Yeah.
He was able to start an organization to compete with the Democrats ballot chasing. He was able to visit college campuses and get like a 40-point shift in Gen Z from left to right.
Right.
Literally, it's insane. If you look at the before and after, you have basically Gen Z males leaning liberal.
Yeah.
And then within the past like year or two, they lean conservative.
Right.
Like a huge shift.
Yeah. Turning point was mostly male, right?
Well, conservative politics is mostly male. So
Well,
so the
true.
answer is going to be yes.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, hate is not emotional hatred.
Right.
The hate in the Bible,
Right.
when that word, it's a clumsily translated word is what it is.
Yeah.
We really, and this applies to love, it applies to hate, it applies to peace, it applies to all these words. We don't have the right amount of words in English. We don't have enough.
Right.
We don't have enough. So we use hate in all these different places where it means different things.
Yeah. Also,
You know.
the translators didn't always get it right. when
No,
they're
they don't get it. In
translating
fact, sometimes they even add things because they don't understand it, but they
Yeah.
know that their understanding can't possibly be right.
Right.
So they'll like add a word here or there. And it's like, okay, now you're just trying to fix what you already broke.
Well, that's what you
know?
that's what you have. You know, when you have that hate injected into it, that's when it gets back to revenge again.
Yeah.
You know, and you have outward revenge. There's a couple of revenge takes different forms.
Yeah.
But there's outward revenge. That's when you get the violence. That's when you get the we saw that with George Floyd. George Floyd.
Yeah. You
Right?
got it right all three times.
Okay, George Floyd. I know his name is Floyd.
If you
Was
say
it
him one
George?
more time, he might appear in the mirror. I don't know.
Jesus Christ, I hope not. But that's how, we get retaliation, we get violence. We saw that. We saw violence in the streets.
Yeah.
We saw, cities burning.
Yeah. Total hate, total anger.
Total hate and anger.
Yep. Revenge.
And then there's an inward the resentment is inside you. So the resentment turns into revenge inside. That's when you get that inward stuff. You hold a grudge, or it's fantastical. You start to imagine things. That's what was tempting me with that vision of this guy getting executed by a firing squad here.
Yeah.
Rather than when they do that. I don't know if you know this. When they do that, they usually, I think it's I forget the exact number. It might be 5. They have 5 rifles.
Okay.
And only one of them contains a live bullet.
Really?
The rest are duds.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. The reason they do that is, and that guy's got to hit the target.
Wow.
And the reason they do that.
Wait, do they know who has it?
No. Somebody knows.
Oh,
but they don't know. So out of 5 people, they don't know which one.
Oh my God.
Nobody can come back and say,
That's amazing.
I was the executioner.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Nobody can take credit. Lives with that on them.
Correct.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's it's almost ingenious. That's crazy.
Like something I would have thought of.
Because really what you're doing, and that's actually, by the way, that's actually the opposite of vengeance.
Yeah.
That technique is the opposite of vengeance. It's a symptom.
It shows that
of justice instead of vengeance.
It shows that we want justice. We don't want vengeance.
It's saying nobody's saying let me do it.
Right.
And the reason is because you seek justice as a society. There are political philosophers who come up with these ideas. It's like, should the death penalty be legal in a society? Should we as a society come together and form a government that we give the power to execute people for harms against society, harms against people within society?
Right. And
the answer is, in Western civilization, is yes, or it always has been. And John Locke in particular says, yeah, when somebody attempts to harm another person, he has waged war on your society. He has abandoned reason, he has abandoned logic, and he is waging war on your society, and your society has the total right to eliminate that threat.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And That's what John Locke says.
Right.
And you can treat that person, therefore, like you do a bear, a wolf, a tiger, any sort of threat to society, bodily harm to anybody in your society.
Right.
You can treat it as that and eliminate that threat.
Now, who says that? John Locke?
That's John Locke.
John Locke.
That's John Locke. Yeah. So he likens a murderer to a wild beast, to a tiger, a wolf, or a lion. It's saying it's a threat. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We have all these people who are essentially threats to society. I'm not saying everybody gets a death penalty, but I'm saying we have so many threats to society that we put in prisons, and we basically pay for the rest of their lives. We just pay for their living for the rest of their lives. And when we can't afford that, we put them back out on the street, which is happening now.
Well, we can afford it.
Well, we can't. Anyway, we put people out on the street who have committed crimes and have proven that they are threats to society.
Right.
We say, oh, he just needed some mental help. Give him 6 months of that and put him back out. I mean, that's what happened in North Carolina, too, right?
That guy on the train?
Yeah, with that girl.
Yeah, what was the story with him? Is he mentally unfit?
Yeah,
we know he is.
He's
but
deranged.
Was he part of the system?
He's deranged, like all murderers are, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think he had been arrested something like 16 times before.
He was arrested a lot, yeah.
So he's a proven threat to society. We know what he is capable of. We know what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. And yet he's still out on the street.
Yeah.
He's still out there.
Crazy.
And there's questions about the judge, and the judge, apparently she's a female judge who has a wife or a girlfriend, and the girlfriend runs a health clinic. So there's questions. It's like, were you running a racket here, like releasing people and then them getting treatment? I don't know if that's true. But a lot wrong there too.
Yeah.
Well,
that people have to be careful about this revenge thing and taking joy in watching the misery of somebody else.
Yeah, that's no good.
That's not good.
But there should be some relief in justice being served.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's true justice and not revenge.
Yeah.
Because revenge tightens you to that thing within you that's just as evil as the person committing the crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the evil from him has spread into you.
It spreads into you.
It spreads that way.
Not only does it spread into you, but then you spread it into your life, into your family, into your environment, into the people, into your relationships, into the community, into the nation.
Yeah,
that's what happens with and George Floyd. That's what happened with them. I mean, you wind up with a hate cult. That's what Antifa is. Antifa is a hate cult.
Yeah,
Black Lives Matter is a hate cult.
Right.
These are people who have been told that an injustice has been performed on them, and they have to get even.
Yep.
And that's what they're trying to do. And it could be, by the way, it can be just like it was for me with this guy listening to the prison story, right? The prisoner guy, the Utah prison expert. Yeah. This is not real. It's not. It's a fantasy. It can be real or it can be imagined. If I can get you to imagine a great harm performed on you, and then if you're a vengeful person or you want revenge, you can start to extract that hate out of thin air, but out of your ego.
You're imagining somebody suffering.
Correct. You're imagining it. Very, very dangerous.
And in this case, it looks like the person who did this to Charlie was if not trans himself, trans associated.
Right.
He had some sort of boyfriend who's trans.
Yeah. Right.
So maybe he calls it a girlfriend. So
we know he's some sort of pervert.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he has a lot of bad things going on in his life.
Right. We're going to find out more.
And I think we're going to find that more people knew about this ahead of time than just that single person who did it.
Right.
And that goes back to the trans thing. I mean, there was just another shooting weeks ago by a trans person.
Which shooting was that? Which one was that?
The Catholic school.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
right.
where thank God only a couple people and not the entire place was taken out.
Right.
I don't know how, but. And the thing with these trans people, you look up their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
There are mental health statistics on the trans community.
Right.
Okay. 40% of adult trans people end up trying to take their own life.
Yeah, sure.
40, almost half.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's way more than the average, than the American population.
And this goes to an underlying condition. It has nothing to do with how they dress.
About 80% consider it. have ideation.
Right.
Okay. So you're dealing with, and by the way, so that's, can I say the word? I can't say the word.
What?
Can't
say it.
Yeah. Okay. That's the percentage that consider or do, in fact, try to take their own life.
Yeah.
We don't have numbers on the percentage that consider taking somebody else's.
Okay.
But if it's that high for your own, compared to the American population, you can imagine how high it would be for someone else's. Well, it's going to be higher than average.
Well, these are people who have, I'll call it an identity crisis, but it's more than just whether or not they're male or female.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who they are. They're attached to something inside them that is not them.
Right.
And they think it's them. And it gets more and more power, and eventually, and it tells them horrible things, and it tells them terrible stories. And they think it's them. People that commit these horrible atrocities, they think it's their idea. It's not even their idea.
Yeah. Which is why they have these ideas in their head about their own lives too, and what they should do.
Right.
They're so detached from their own soul, from their own being,
their true being,
that they don't even know what gender they are.
No,
they don't even know which gender. Apparently, that's a made-up word. We're supposed to say sex in the first place. It's like gender is supposed to be your spirit, and sex is your biological. They're both the same.
Yeah, they've got this whole hierarchy of words that we have to fall into. It's
and that's the thing, is that a lot of these people are smart. They're intellectually smart.
Right.
They're able to come up with entire philosophies, entire systems of thinking to justify the evil that is going on within them. And it makes it seem like they try and legitimize it.
It's overcomplicated.
And what happens is, you actually had, so you have this kind of debauchery happening in society today, and we have to see it. And I mean, everybody sees it out now too. Right. You see it in public, and it's like way more than it was 10 years ago even. It's online way more than it was 10 years ago.
Well, because it's being encouraged.
It's being encouraged. And it's being encouraged by the medical system as well, and the educational system. And so you have that, and then you have the people seeing it.
Right.
Okay. And you have how they're reacting to what they're seeing. And like you said, if they're getting full of resentment and hate and rage over this, over the injustice, over the debauchery, over the obvious wrong that we're seeing, the decay of society, then they're going to overreact to it too. I don't know that we're at a place where that's a real danger. I hope not. I know that
we're not talking about psychology here.
Oh, I know.
I know, but it's anybody listening would think that we're pretending to be psychologists.
I don't think so.
Well, to think in these terms, this has nothing to do with psychology. I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay, well, maybe I just need to say, obviously, this is demonic. This is evil.
These are
spiritual forces.
These are people
that are taking hold of
these
people.
These are people. They are possessed.
Yeah,
they are possessed. Yeah. And possession has nothing to do with it's not like the Hollywood possession. Possession is a lot more common than people think, and it can be very subtle. Yeah.
Well,
or it can be not so subtle.
Well, my name is Legion, for we are many.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah, they, them.
They, them.
And again, here's the thing. People say you're demonizing trans people. There's a person there. There's a real person. There is humanity there that needs to be saved, and it is being harmed by the ideology and the evil that is propelling this ideology into these people.
Right. Well, because they're being told that that's really how they are.
And that's the thing. They say you're denying my existence.
Yeah.
They say you're denying my being.
Yeah.
No, you're a person. You're denying your own being.
Right.
And it's proven by the stats I mentioned too, that you're the one who's denying your being. There was an interaction with Charlie that I think it's getting shared around. I had seen it recently too, where because his whole thing is going to these tents and talking to these people, right? And anybody comes up, and he got a lot of trans people or trans activists that would come up and try and shout at him and yell at him and stuff. And I believe he had one that was fairly nice and allowed him to explain his position. And it's essentially that his hope for that person who was considering themselves a they, them, or transitioning or whatever, was that they would recognize their own humanity, their own who God made them to be. They would find comfort in being that person in their own body, and live a happy life and find God. Like, that's his goal.
Mm-hmm.
And they twist it into this thing. You're denying my being. No, I want you to find out who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
but anyway, what happens if people begin to really hate all this stuff and seek revenge and want this stuff, which I see a lot of people saying online, and I'm hoping that it is a minority and it doesn't take hold of the whole country, and I don't think it will. You end up with a backlash that can be just as evil and ferocious on a political level.
Of course.
We're not there, so I'm not making a direct comparison, but as an example, Nazi Germany,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reference that. Before, people don't know, a lot of people don't know this, before Nazi Germany, before the Nazis took power and took hold and the Third Reich and all that, the debauchery within their own country was out of control.
Right.
Sex everywhere on the streets, prostitutes, little boys and girls getting pimped out, horrible, terrible things. They had a lot of that trans stuff too. That's why a lot of the book burnings that the Nazis did, they were burning sexual literature. They were burning trans and sexual deviancy literature. Not all of it, but that's what they were doing. But the overreaction of them was evil as well. So now you have evil that begot evil. Right, evil begets evil, and now, and that's what, and frankly, that's why. One of the reasons some of the founding fathers were like, "Hey, we stay out of Europe. I don't want anything to do with Europe. They're just always fighting with each other. They're always they're not on the straight and narrow. There's not it's like we side with them, and then they do something crazy, and then we try and side with the other guy. We don't want anything to do with that. It's warring Europe,
right?
And that played out into the 20th century as well." And we did get involved because things got really bad, but you have to find forgiveness. It is an internal disposition, and then you will realize what the right political position to take is.
Right.
And if you don't, you'll probably pick the wrong one.
That's
what's going to happen.
The only way to find forgiveness is not something that you can just employ. I forgive you, that sort of thing.
No.
Okay. Because if you say I forgive you, while you're still suppressing anger, all you're doing is brandishing, a badge of false superiority.
Right.
And it's not real.
And that's when you get the people who rightfully say these guys are losers, when they're pointing to people who are like, I forgive, and you're when they say forgive, they're like, they're being overly nice and they're being pushovers.
Right.
And because you're trying to forgive with your actions, because you actually are still upset. You're trying to compensate by being a pushover.
Correct.
You don't have to be a pushover.
Yep.
You shouldn't be. You should forgive inside. Then you don't have to be a pushover, and you don't have to overreact and do something terrible.
Right.
So, but there does have to be some sort of response to this. It is bad. The amount of people who celebrated this is disgusting, and people are waking up to the fact that this sort of hatred exists, and that is good. That people are waking up and hopefully, actually, when you forgive, you'll be able to be brave and say, no, I reject, you celebrating that. And no, I don't want to be friends with you. No, I don't want to hire you. I won't work with you. I won't, whatever degree of stigmatization and taboo, many Americans have shied away from because they were afraid to voice their own opinions, can come about as a result of this.
Right.
That's necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, some things just shouldn't be allowed in society. It's like, no, you're not allowed to celebrate this. No.
Right.
And when people forgive, they can be brave and they can stand up and say, no, you can't do that. And that's the right thing to do, I think. So
we have to become a society that is not afraid to look at evil and see it and step back from it and not let it get into them.
And then call it out.
Of course.
And that requires bravery.
That requires bravery.
Yep.
And then you can actually employ justice then.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing it emotionally.
And it's going to come from brave men.
Oh, yeah.
And brave women are going to follow those brave men.
Right.
That's how it's going to work.
In order for society to be truly just, it has to come as we were established under God.
Yeah.
And that's how we become indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
Right.
But if it's not under God, none of that happens.
Yeah. Yep. One of the last things, which was actually quite moving for me at the time, because I saw it like the next day. It's a video of Charlie, and he said he just ended it. He quoted the Bible a bit and said some things and made some references, whatever the context was of the video. But he ended it by saying, and he said it's comforting to know that he's not in control. There is a God.
Right.
It's not him,
Mm-hmm.
and he surrenders to his will.
Right.
And that is true.
That's very cool.
And that it meant a lot to me to hear him say that. And I was very happy. And that video was from the day it happened,
Right.
earlier in the day. Because that exact sentiment meant a lot to me at different times in my life. It's always true.
Mm-hmm.
But there were times where I forgot it was true, and I didn't realize I had forgotten it was true. And the realization woke me up, and I came out of suffering, came out of trying to control, trying to do, ambition, aggression. Because I was doing so many things. I was trying to accomplish so many things. I was getting lost in it, and then fearful that I can't do it or I won't get this done. What will happen? I'm like, wait, I'm not in control here. Why am I trying to control this?
Mm-hmm.
I put my best foot forward with every moment,
Yeah.
and God's in control.
Yeah.
And I serve him.
Yeah. You can be energized by that kind of thing, but that energy will burn you right out.
Ambition,
Yeah.
and aggression.
Ambition
Yep,
and aggression. Yep.
But I was energized. I got more done knowing that God was in
Of
control
course.
than trying to control it myself.
Right.
And I think that's how Charlie got a lot done too.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
and that's how
he was a good guy.
that's how he was able to give up drinking,
Yeah.
no smoking, no
Right.
drugs. You could tell by the lack of vices in his life
Yeah.
that he was truly doing something right. So,
Okay. All right.
is that it?
I know that's all I have to say about it right now. I have a lot more to think, a lot more to talk about with regard to these topics, because there are a lot of different topics that are now touching on this event
Yeah.
that are really important. I think we'll probably touch on them in the future.
Okay.
Without
Okay.
actually talking about this event.
Right.
I mean, we're going to be talking about this for a long time. The media's going to be talking about it for a long time too.
Well,
Unfortunately.
it was shared earlier today that Turning Point, his organization, which is in colleges and high schools,
Right.
has received tens of thousands of new branch requests
Right.
since this has happened,
I can
just
imagine.
during this week.
I can imagine.
Literally tripling, if not more, the size of the organization
Mhm.
in 1 week, potentially.
Yeah.
So,
I have concerns about his wife.
okay.
I mean, I think God bless her. I hope she's going to be fine. I hope she's going to be okay. But I think it was a little soon for her to get on television and do what she did the other night.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, another week, maybe. I don't know. I just think it was a little soon. She's still angry. I can see that. And, it took a turn that was like, it's like almost a vow to get even, which was a little bit disturbing. And maybe she comes out of it, maybe she doesn't. But I can't blame her, but she's being told that you talk about righteous anger.
Yeah,
that she's being told by some people that it's okay
Mm-hmm.
to be angry. And it's not okay to be angry under any circumstances.
Right.
You know?
And the truth is,
So I have concerns.
I would not have. It's hard to expect more from somebody under a situation like that, this close to everything.
That's true. That's
So-
true. And people can come out of it, and I hope she does.
Yeah.
She seems like a nice lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done for today?
I think maybe we are.
All right.
All right.
Not a happy one, but
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't smile much during it. Couldn't help it.
that'll be it.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye.